so excited because it's not often that you get a legend to join you on the telephone, but that's exactly what we have now. And when I mean legend, he's the guy that wrote the book on sports handicapping. I'm telling you, there is nobody more well-respected in the industry than Mark Lawrence from Playbook.com. He joins us now via the Miami Acura hotline. And Mark, thanks for taking some time and hanging out with us here today.
Hey, Joe, it's my pleasure, as always. Really looking forward to this football season here and my visit with you as well.
Perfect. All right. Well, speaking of football season, it's been a lot of fun. And I'm wondering, when it comes to sports betting, sports handicapping, because I've asked this of a few people and I get some different answers. What has been, so far in the 2 weeks, what has been the biggest surprise for you?
Well, in the world of college football, it's been the disappointment of some new head coaches that have really failed to deliver the goods. We're talking about Chip Kelly at UCLA, Willie Taggart at Florida State, some huge disappointments there that way. You've also got, on the other side of the coin, some college football head coaches that have been new that have really, really excelled. They've done really great jobs. Joe Moorhead at Mississippi State is one. You can also say Herm Edwards has done a pretty good job at Arizona State. So, the question now becomes, will this pattern continue with these teams? I don't think so, but the bottom line here is that they've at least gotten off to respectively bad and good starts.
Yes, that they have. It was funny. I kept hearing how Herm Edwards can't coach and he'd never survive, in the college game. But I think he's doing a pretty good job, Mark.
He's doing a terrific job. He's got these players really psyched up playing his style of football here, and it's been evident in their play so far this season here. 2 big wins at home, goes out on the road and trips up a little bit, if you will, at San Diego State. But nonetheless, I think he's got this football program turned right around, doing a great job, is Herm Edwards.
Playbook.com's Mark Lawrence, at Mark Lawrence. That's how you catch him and reach him here on Twitter. And listen, Mark, the Playbook, it's talk to us about, for those that don't know, the history of the Playbook and how you started out in this business, about 6 months ago?
6 months ago would be really kind, given the fact that the Playbook newsletter is now in its 33rd year.
Wow.
Yes, 33 years with the newsletter. In fact, I've been in this industry for over 40 years myself, and seen a lot along the ways. I'm going back to the Woody Hayes days at Ohio State and Bo Schembechler, to what we're dealing with here right now. The current young coaches and the new style of football in both the college and National Football League as well. So I've loved it. I've loved all the changes we've seen. The college football playoffs right now, I think, is exciting. It's a long time coming, but really, really well worth it. It's a nice little plum for the players to play for. So a lot of good things have happened along the ways in my 40 years in this industry.
40 years, Mark. Did you ever think you'd get to the point where here we are talking about an NHL team partnering up with a sports book and legalized sports betting in other places outside of Nevada? Did you ever think we'd get to this point?
Well, I certainly hoped we would, and it's nice to see that prohibition is over in sports gambling. That's really nice to see the Supreme Court overturn that decision here. It was a really manipulated decision that they had done. They tacked it onto the back of a Port Authority bill, just to get that through. But nonetheless, the Supreme Court overruled it, makes legalized sports wagering now a here and now thing, and we're really looking forward to everybody getting on the same page with this. Right now, each state is running with its own mandate, but I'd sure love to see the federal government come in and legislating this over the course of all states, so that we would have one set of rules that everybody could play by, rather than having each state set their own rules how to play these games and to regulate everything. But nonetheless, legalized sports wagering is here, and we're really, really excited about it.
And what about what happened? And it's mind-blowing to me that FanDuel would have opted to try and not pay the gentleman that laid the bet on a 750 to 1 shot. He ended up winning it, but they originally said they weren't going to pay him because there might have been a glitch on the screen or the odds were wrong. And I've talked to some other professional bettors who say that kind of thing would never happen in Las Vegas. It would only happen, of course, where they're just trying to start out with sports betting in New Jersey. That's not the norm, right? I mean, is that true? Would you ever see something like that happen in Las Vegas at a sports book?
I have myself never heard of anything like that, but I've also heard that it has happened in the past, maybe not to the degree that it happened with FanDuel. But, the bottom line, Joe, is, FanDuel is a new player in the business, in the industry, and they do not need black eyes, bad publicity to begin their venture in this road. So, I think they need to pay this guy off and let everybody know that, hey, we're here for you. These are the rules, and come and play by them, and we will treat you right. So they don't need bad publicity to start that way in this new venture here. FanDuel, DraftKings is going to be a sports book here as well. So it's an exciting time, but they need to treat the players right.
Mark Lawrence joining us. As a matter of fact, Mark, as you're speaking, it's popping up that I'm being told that they did agree to pay him today. So I guess the cooler heads prevailed, and they realized that it's give him the $82K instead of a steak dinner and a couple of Giants tickets. So, and that's good. I mean, that's good for everybody involved.
Yeah, that's $82,000 of publicity that they could have spent to try to get people. They spent it. They did it the right way. Okay, so good for them and good for the guy holding that ticket for sure.
Playbook.com at Mark Lawrence. That's how you reach him here on Twitter. Mark, I get a lot of questions from people now that it's becoming legalized in many states. I've got a lot of people that were either recreational bettors that want to kind of step it up, and then I've got a bunch of people who've never bet on sports going, where do I go? There's so much, for lack of a better, there's so much crap on the internet, and everybody's a guaranteed 80% winner or 90% winner. Trying to navigate the seas of where to go and get the information for betting on sports, what would you suggest for these folks?
Well, I've lived through this now for 40 years, Joe. A lot of bad seeds in this industry. It still is an unregulated industry. So you get these clowns, these scam decappers that come out of the woodwork and purport these wild claims. And if it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true. The truth of the matter is there's a right way and a wrong way to do this stuff. It's really tough to overcome 11 to 10 odds in wagering. And to do that, you have to win 52.4% of your bets just to break even. In the same vein here, I want to pass this along to you that we are launching a new site called Sports Data University, where we are going to be conducting classes on responsible sports wagering, teaching people how to do things the right way, teaching people how to gain edges, where we're holding live classes where they can sit in with experts and do things like that. So if you get a chance, you can check that out. It's Sports Data University. It's on our website at sportsdata.com. It's in a beta mode right now, but it's coming here real soon, and it's going to be a real exciting project. We're looking forward to that.
So almost even like taking an online class. That's kind of what you got going on there.
That's exactly what it is. You go online to earn degrees for education, and we're going to be doing the same thing for sports wagering to teach people how to do things the right way. What the NBA does not need, they don't need people betting on their games, losing their houses, their wives, becoming addicted to the sport. It's not going to be a good image for the NBA. In fact, I had a conversation with Adam Silver about this, and he concurs that there needs to be some platform for legalized sports wagering, responsible sports wagering. So, I listened to him, and we're going to do just that. We'll be launching sportsdata.com here in the very near future.
Love that. At Mark Lawrence joining us. And Mark, are we close to the days of, like at Wembley, where you can, at halftime or in between quarters, you can run down to the kiosk and bet the second half? I mean, are we that close to that happening here in the States?
Very close. What's going to happen, Joe, to make this thing a home run for everybody is all sports wagering is going to basically, and when I say all, I'm going to talk to the majority, is going to occur on apps, sports apps or kiosks, where people are going to have easy access to make their plays instead of having to drive down to, let's say, Gulfstream Park, if and when that comes to be the case. Get in line and make your plays there that way. People love convenience, and they're going to be able to do all their sports wagering on their telephone, on an app, with the sports book right on their app. That's what we're going to see here. And also, the advent of in-game wagering is here right now as well. That's the most, in fact, the truth of the matter is there's more handle in Las Vegas on in-game wagering than there is betting the game itself these days. People just love the action. They love getting on the games and being able to bet play-by-play on exactly what's going to happen and how the game's going to unfold. So, there's a lot of nuances to that, and, people are going to have to learn how to become in-game wagering specialists as well. That's what we're going to end up having to teach people at sportsdata.com.
And that's why it's so important, and I'm so glad you agreed to come on, because we get so many questions about people on what direction to go. And it's, if you're going to do this, then you need to do it the right way and get surrounded by the people who have been doing it for 30-some-odd years that understand the nuances. So, you know, you ultimately have to decide for yourself what's good and what's not good. But when you have guys that you can follow like Mark Lawrence, you're on the right track to becoming a very responsible sports bettor. And really, at the end of the day, like you said, the NBA, MLB, and that's what they need. They need responsible sports bettors, not the other shoe to drop.
Unquestionably, you know, that's what's going to make it work for everybody. And you know, in the 40 years that I've been in business, our MO at Playbook has been to help teaching people to make informed decisions, and that's exactly what we're all about. So, you know, and we do this basically because if we teach people how to become successful at sports wagering, it's like teaching people how to fish. Rather than throwing a fish to them and let them eat a meal, we'd rather have them learn how to become a good fisherman, learn how to really approach the game the proper way, because that'll keep you in the game longer. It'll be more profitable, and you'll enjoy it in the end. Mark
Lawrence joining us. All right, I got to ask before I let you go here one question. There was a parlay winner, William Hill, Vegas, 84,000 and change, ended up picking the entire damn card correct. And I've got to ask you, man, when you get to that Monday night game, he had Chicago, but as a bettor, as a professional bettor, Mark, are you borrowing as much money as you can to hedge that bet on Seattle, or are you going, you know what, I'm 14 for 14, I've already picked Chicago, I'm going to stay with Chicago?
Well, I'll say this first of all, Joe. If you're playing 14-team parlays, you probably don't have the resources to hedge that bet. Okay?
Oh, man. That is. But if you do, you know you got 14. How do you play that? Like, what do you do on that Monday night game?
Well, you know, obviously you need to hedge and guarantee a profit, because that's what we're in this for, is guaranteeing profits, making profits. So you have to draw a profit out of that. You have to end up betting the other side of that game to guarantee yourself some money in the process as well. So use all your resources, do just that, take that profit, put it in your pocket, and live for another day.
That's it. That's the best $5 lotto ticket that guy's ever going to win, that's for sure. Mark Lawrence, do yourself a favor. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, at Mark Lawrence, playbook.com. And coming soon, the school, the online school about becoming a professional, responsible handicapper. And Mark, where can they go for that?
That's sportsdata.com. Sportsdata.com. Check out the university there. It'll be up and operating in about 30 days.
Looking so forward to that. Mark, you thanks so very much for stopping by, my friend. I look forward to doing this again.
Hey, my pleasure as always, Joe. Enjoy the games, and let's hope the ball bounces our way.